Hello everyone. This time I will talk about Emperor Tenmu and Empress Jitō. Emperor Tenmu was an emperor of Japan during the Asuka period. That was the name Prince Aoyama took after he became emperor of Japan. Prince Aoyama, who won the Jinshin War, ascended to the Emperor Tenmu. There is already a video about the Jinshin War, so please watch it. This video is about what Emperor Tenmu and his Empress Jitō did after the Jinshin War. So, I'll start my story right after the Jinshin War ended. After winning the Jinshin War, Prince Aoyama returned to Asuka and built a new home. That is Asuka Kiyomiura Palace. Prince Aoyama, who ascended to the throne thereafter, was called Emperor Tenmu. He married Anano Sarara no Himamiko, who had fought alongside him in the Jinshin War, as his empress. She would later become Empress Jitō. In other words, Emperor Tenmu and Empress Jitō were husband and wife. They are people who overcame the Jinshin War together. From this time onwards, the power of the Emperor of Japan was greatly strengthened. Earlier I said that Emperor Tenmu built a new residence.
There is a waka poem that praises Asuka Kiyomiura Palace. Because the Emperor of Japan is a god, he made his capital a rice field with a red horse crawling on its belly. That is the waka poem. It means, he made his capital out of a rice field so big that horses could sink into it. It is a waka poem praising Emperor Tenmu, a man of such great power. In the section preceding that, the Emperor of Japan is likened to a god. To people at the time, the engineering work required to transform a marsh into a habitable place seemed like a miracle. Why did he have such power in the first place? This is related to the Jinshin War. To explain this, I will talk about the entire Asuka period. Prince Nakano Oi assassinated Soga no Iruka during the Ichichi incident. From then on, politics was under what could be called the dictatorship of Prince Nakano Oi, or Emperor Tenji. Even at this stage, Emperor Tenji still had considerable power. However, Emperor Tenmu defeated the power that Emperor Tenji had built up in the Jinshin War. He gained the throne through his own strength. In other words, it was only natural that Emperor Tenmu, who won the battle, would gain power that surpassed that of Emperor Tenji. Some people name Emperor Tenmu as the Emperor of Japan with the most power in Japanese history. He had such immense power. Because of this situation, the term Tennoship politics is often used to describe Emperor Tenmu's politics. Until then, local ruling families had supported politics. However, during the reign of Emperor Tenmu, the imperial family began to support politics. This includes, of course, Anano Sarara no Himamiko, who became empress. Emperor Tenmu's two sons, Prince Kusakabe and Prince Atsu, also became involved in politics after they grew up. This form of government run by the imperial family is called Tennoship politics. The first thing Emperor Tenmu accomplished by using such great power was to thoroughly implement the principle of Kochi Kaminsei. Since the Taika reform, Kochi Kaminsei had been the goal. But that policy, as I said before, was not immediately applied. It was a long process. And at this stage, private land and private people still existed. Emperor Tenmu issued an order to thoroughly enforce Kochi Kaminsei. And so, Japan took another step toward becoming an Emperor of Japan-centered nation. Emperor Tenmu also compiled the national history. National history, as the name suggests, is the history of a country. In other words, he compiled the history of Japan into a book. This is how the compilation of the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki began. Many people have probably heard that the Emperor of Japan's ancestors were gods. In many cases, these are based on what is written in the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki. Emperor Tenmu considered himself to be the descendants of the sun goddess Amaterasu. In doing so, he wanted to set himself apart and make himself special from other local ruling families. Emperor Tenmu also established Yakuza no Kaban. This is a little difficult to understand, so let's take a look back at the Asuka period as a whole. During the Asuka period, two major battles occurred within the country. They are the Ichichi incident and the Jinshin War. The Soga clan once held great power, but fell into decline after the Ichichi incident. The Taika reform that followed also led to the downfall of many local ruling families. Those who survived were those who were active in the imperial court under Emperor Tenji. However, Emperor Tenmu was victorious in the Jinshin War. As a result, many of the people of the Omi, the imperial court, fell into ruin. In other words, throughout the Asuka period, powerful local ruling families fell into decline. As a result, by the time Emperor Tenmu took control of the government, the clan rankings had changed dramatically compared to before. In response to this situation, Emperor Tenmu reordered the clan rankings. These are the Yakuza no Kaban: Mahito, Asomi, Sukune, Amiki, Mishinoshi, Omi, Miraji, Inagi. He bestowed a Kaban on the clan. In doing so, he strengthened his control over the clan. So far I have explained the various policies that Emperor Tenmu implemented. Let's summarize them here once and for all. Emperor Tenmu, who won the Jinshin War, held great power. He ruled through a system known as tennoship politics, in which the imperial family governed. He also thoroughly implemented Kochi Kamense and compiled a national history. In this way, he consolidated the power of the Emperor of Japan. He also succeeded in strengthening his control over the clan by instituting Yakuza no Kaban. It is easy to understand, then, why some people consider Emperor Tenmu to have been the most powerful of all Japanese Emperor of Japan. In this way, Emperor Tenmu further advanced the creation of an Emperor of Japan-centered nation. But he still had a problem. It's a succession issue. Emperor Tenmu was the man who survived the succession issue and gained real power, so he was worried that there would be a succession battle after his death. The leading candidates to become the next Emperor of Japan are Prince Kusakabe and Prince Atsu. Prince Kusakabe's mother is Anano Sarara no Himamiko. Prince Atsu's mother is Oda no Himamiko. By this time, Oda no Himamiko had already passed away. Anano Sarara no Himamiko assisted Emperor Tenmu in his politics. Taking that into consideration, Prince Kusakabe seems to have the advantage. However, between the two of them, Prince Atsu was the more skilled. Emperor Tenmu must have considered many options, but ultimately he chose Prince Kusakabe as the crown prince. Perhaps this was due to the huge presence of Anano Sarara no Himamiko. It was under these circumstances that Emperor Tenmu passed away. In this situation, Prince Atsu was in a precarious position. Soon after the death of Emperor Tenmu, Prince Atsu's rebellion was discovered and he was executed. Was Prince Atsu actually planning a rebellion? Or was he executed after being found guilty by Anano Sarara no Himamiko and Prince Kusakabe? The truth of this is currently unknown. However, in the end Prince Atsu died. So, the concerns that Anano Sarara no Himamiko and Prince Kusakabe had were resolved. However, something unexpected happened. Prince Kusakabe died suddenly. Anano Sarara no Himamiko, who lost her husband and son one after another, must have been deeply shocked. And so there was no one left to become the next emperor of Japan. Prince Kusakabe had a son named Prince Karu. However, at the time he was only 7 years old, too young to become emperor of Japan. Thus, Anano Sarara no Himamiko decided to take over the throne as an interim measure until Prince Karu grew up. This is Empress Jitō. Thus, Empress Jitō inherited the policies of Emperor Tenmu and ruled the country. Two initiatives that had been undertaken since the time of Emperor Tenmu bore fruit during the reign of Empress Jitō. The first one is the Asuka Kiyomiura Code. The second is Fujiwara Kyo. Regarding the first one, the Asuka Kiyomiura Code, many people may not know what Ryo means. This is a complicated topic, so I'll explain it in another video later. For now, at this stage, you can assume that the laws that had been in place since the time of Emperor Tenmu were completed during the time of Empress Jitō. The second one is Fujiwara Kyo, which is a new capital. Plans to build a new capital had been in place since the time of Emperor Tenmu, but they had never been put into action. It was Empress Jitō who put this plan into action. Fujiwara Kyo is located a little north of Asuka. As you can see, the size is enormous. It is surrounded by Mount Miminashi, Mount Hanebi, and Mount Kagu. These mountains are famously known as the Three Mountains of Yamato. She built a capital city on this plain called Fujiwara Kyo, and the capital was moved there from Asuka. It was the first Chinese-style capital in Japanese history. Here too we can see Japan's progress as a Japanese nation under the Ritsuryo codes. Afterwards, Empress Jitō handed over the Emperor of Japan to Prince Karu. By this time, Prince Karu was 15 years old. He was old enough to inherit the throne. Thus, Emperor of Japan Manmu became the new Emperor of Japan. Empress Jitō became the retired empress and continued to support Emperor of Japan Tenmu and be involved in politics thereafter. However, in 702 she died of an illness. After being cremated, Empress Jitō was buried in the tomb of Emperor Tenmu. The two of them are still sleeping together in harmony at Asuka Mura. How was that? The national system was established by Emperor Tenmu and Empress Jitō, and so it seems to me that Japan has become more united as a nation. The next Emperor of Japan will be Emperor of Japan Tenmu. However, before that I would like to talk about the temples that are closely related to Emperor Tenmu and Empress Jitō. That is Yakashiji Temple. So, in the next video I will explain about Yakashiji Temple. See you in the next video.